All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, Michael Krizo versus Iain Valliere. They had an exchange on Instagram on a post made by Who is the Best Bodybuilder on Instagram, comparing Michael Krizo and Big Ramy. And Iain Valliere left a comment, said, LOL, right into the show and being compared with the champ, referring to Michael Krizo. It's his first time at the Olympia, and a lot of people, including myself, have made comparisons of how will he do against Big Ramy because they are both bigger guys. Michael Krizo and Big Ramy are some of the only guys that are going to be competing near 300 pounds at the Olympia. Also Samson Dauda as well. That's just a fact. Michael Krizo's big appeal, I think, is the fact that he is a mass monster. He weighs like 290 pounds on stage, at least allegedly. And of course, Michael Krizo had something to say about this. He responded to this post, and he says, Iain is still a crybaby. In the Olympia, I will show him what is bodybuilding. So I thought that would be a good way to start out this video, is a fresh rivalry going into the Olympia between Iain Valliere and Michael Krizo, and pose the question, because I think this is an interesting one. Who do you think will place higher at the Olympia, Iain or Krizo? I think that's a much more realistic comparison than comparing Michael Krizo to Big Ramy at his first Olympia ever, because let's be honest, I think Iain Valliere and Michael Krizo are probably going to be in the same call-out. I think that's more realistically where we would see Krizo, and that's probably going to be a call-out that's either first call-out or battling to be in that first call out, maybe in the 6, 7, 8, 9 range, or let's just say 7 through 10. So I want to get your guys' Olympia predictions again in the comment section below, but just specifically relating to kind of that range where you feel Iain will place, and maybe it's higher. Maybe you think Iain and Krizo will both be in the first call out and both be top guys in the conversation for the win. But whatever you feel, who do you think will place higher? And I'll answer that question for you guys myself. I think that Krizo will place higher than Iain. Now, if he doesn't, I'll be happy to eat my words, but I have a little bit of faith in Krizo here. Even though I haven't been the most complimentary of his recent appearances on stage, I do think that he is saving the best for last. I think he's saving his best physique for the Olympia, and we did get another physique update from Michael Krizo. He posted a couple videos yesterday. We talked about that, but he also posted a most muscular physique update on his Instagram story with his coach, where I think he looks very impressive, and I do think that he's going to be a threat at the Olympia. Maybe not necessarily a threat to win his first Olympia ever, but certainly a threat against some of these guys that have been talking about him. I think he's going to beat Blessing. Blessing has talked some crap about him, and I think he's got a strong possibility at beating Iain. But let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree with my analysis of that. Now, next up in the news, let's take a look at the updated Olympia qualified competitors list, because there's some interesting things going on here, especially when it comes to the point standings for the Olympia, now that they've included the two most recent additions to that list. So if you look at the very bottom of the qualified competitor list, you guys already know all these names. I'm not going to read through them all again. But they just added Leandro Perez, who won the Fit Pure show in Brazil this past weekend. And they also added Theo Laguerrier, who just won the Europa Pro this past weekend. And of course, right above them is Michael Krizo, who won the previous week's Prague Pro. Now, the interesting thing about that is that Theo Laguerrier was in the point standings. So he was one of the top 3 in the point standings that probably would have gotten to the Olympia on points. And now if you look at the point standings, it's Justin Rodriguez in the lead with 32 points. Andrea Musi in second place with 29 points. And now Steve Kuclo is in the top 3 in the point standings. And the significance of that is the fact that the top 3 in point standings get to go to the Olympia, as well as the people that qualified by winning a show. So a lot of people were asking the question, well, does this mean Steve will be at the Olympia? Has he been prepping for the Olympia? Will he show up now that he's qualified? The answer to that question is no, and this was a post by Buys and Tries, and it was then reposted and confirmed by Steve Kuclo that he has not been prepping. He will not be competing in the Olympia. He's going to be taking the rest of the year off to be focusing on his family. I believe he said he wants to have a baby with his wife, and he wants to focus on health as well. He says that they actually were pregnant before the Texas Pro, which was the last show we saw him compete in, and they had a miscarriage. And he said emotionally that was very hard for him, and that could have contributed to the placing that he had at that show. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing Steve at the Olympia, but I do think it's important that he has this opportunity and takes it to focus on his family and his health and the things that really matter, because bodybuilding really should come secondary to those things. So when we do have a pro bodybuilder that wants to focus on this, I think we should encourage and support it. Now, next up in the news, we've got a few physique updates from Brett Wilkin at just a couple days out from the final qualifier. This will be the final opportunity for a men's open bodybuilder to qualify for the men's open portion of the Olympia. So we got a front double bicep from Brett, and we also got a rear lat spread from Brett. And I think Brett looks pretty impressive here, and I think that the odds are that Brett will be the next name that we see added to that competitor list for the Olympia. I think he's going to win this show. Now that we've seen the competitor list for this show in Romania, I'll pull it up for you guys right here. And I guess I'll just go ahead and read through it because you guys seem to get a kick out of me reading some of these international names. You've got Pavel Baron, Lewis Breed, Rob Cannon, Mohamed Taha Fuda, Roman Fritz, Behruz Tabani, Abar Ghani, Mohamed Hassan, Enrico Hoffman, coming back to compete again, Paweł Kowalski, Sergio Lima, Gianluca Di Lorenzo, Andrea Mosti, Pablo Lopez Munoz, Sem Nazim, Diego Nunez, Artem Paknuluk, Sarachi Plangayim, Milan Sadik, and Brett Wilkin at the very bottom there. Obviously, it doesn't look like the deepest lineup. There's not a lot of very familiar names, not any real heavy hitters. I think Brett is the odds-on favorite in this show, and I think will likely be, unless he's completely off here, the last name added to the Men's Open Olympia. And I think it goes without saying that this is going to be Olympia for the ages. This is one that I'm really excited for. Probably the longest, the deepest competitor list we've seen in a very long time. I've been over this time and time again. But let me know your guys' Olympia predictions in the comments below. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, another physique update, a posing video this time from Breon Ansley. And I think Breon actually looks really impressive here. And he's a guy that I have been kind of counting out of this year's Classic Physique Olympia. I think that the stuff that we've seen so far from Urs and Ramon and Terrence and Chris, I think Urs, Ramon, and Terrence are going to be in that conversation more so than Breon. But I will admit, he looks very good here. This is one of my favorite updates that we've seen from Breon, and maybe he won't slip much further than he's already slipped. Maybe he will find himself back in the top 3. But right now, my prediction is still that I think he's going to be beaten by these guys like Ramon and Urs, and I think he might drop a couple placings this year. However, I still want to give him credit here. I think he looks really good in this update, and I wanted to make note of that. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, hit a thumbs up, all that good stuff to support the channel. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.